All right, welcome, dear guests. It's really great to have you in our webinar today. Uh, it's really exciting times for our industry, I guess, and there are a lot of things going about AI, and recently, especially with Copilot, and we thought that it would be really a good opportunity to share our experiences with you in these subjects. So I actually have two dear colleagues slash friends today with me, and I'm hoping we will share good insights about GitHub and Copilot in general. So before we start in the webinar, actually, I would like to say that we are hosting this webinar through Teams and LinkedIn. And please let us know if you have any problems with it. Görkem is supporting with us through the whole process. And I would like to remind you that this session is being recorded, by the way, and will be published on our YouTube channel. So a good time to remind you that you should follow our YouTube channel as well. And at the end of the webinar, we will have a feedback, and please do not forget to fill out the feedback form so that it will be a better and more fulfilled webinar the next time. That being said, I think I should introduce myself first, right? So my name is Ahmed, and I'm going to be your host and moderator today. I'm actually responsible for extending pickup technology services and solutions to the MEA region. I've been working with Microsoft technologies throughout my whole career, and I'm really excited about the phase that we are in, about especially AI and Copilot today. So, as pickup technology, we have our own services and solutions that lay around Microsoft. We use a lot of Microsoft technologies and platforms as well, of course. So, on my right, I have my dear friend Fatih. Fatih is our development team lead. I will just drop the microphone to him in a few seconds. And then on my left, I have Barış. Barış is working as a senior cloud solution architect in Microsoft. So I believe Fatih will be able to share our own experience with GitHub Copilot in our own development environment, while Barış will be able to give us the wider spectrum on the usage scenarios in their customers. And I'm pretty sure that this will really give a good idea of the whole solution as is, right? So I think we will gather a good team for this webinar. And one last thing, we will try to keep it informal and interactive as much as possible. So please go ahead and ask your questions through Q&A or chat if you have any. We would be really happy to answer your questions at all. And that's it, I guess. So I talk so much, and I don't want to keep all the time to myself. So let me put it to Fatih. Fatih, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and maybe pass it to Barış later?
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Fatih Memiş. I work as the technical leader of development teams at Pickup. I have been at Pickup for 5 years, and I have been leading the teams almost 2 years. Well, I have worked as a professional software developer since 1999. Before that, it was just a hobby. I learned my first software with Pascal. Then I started my career with C, C++, Delphi, learned and used Java, PHP. Then I used mainly C# and .NET technologies and JavaScript. I have been following .NET since it first came out, and I have developed applications with mainly .NET technology since 2005. Now I also have experience with TypeScript, Python, Flutter, and other languages. Also personally, I have gold medal in national competitions in physics and silver medal worldwide. I think that's all. Barış.
Hello. Hello, everybody. This is Barış Usta, and I am a member of Microsoft family since 2012. And I have the same expertise with Fatih. Lots of technologies I engage with. Nowadays, I experience on mostly AI side, like GitHub Copilot, OpenAI related solutions. And today we will talk about generally on GitHub Copilot and how can we effectively use it on our environment for productivity, because it is important for these days technologies. And we will see what we'll have in the presentation. Okay, so.
That's very good. Let's go ahead and start then. Fatih, I believe you have the agenda, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can start. Okay. Hello again. Well, let me summarize why we are doing this event. As a technical lead, finding, testing, and adapting tools that will take us 5 steps ahead in software development and provide extra miles is part of my job. When GitHub Copilot first came out, I was skeptical about whether it was a validating tool. So I examined it a bit, tinkered with it, and soon realized that GitHub Copilot is truly an assistant. When you use it like an assistant, it really helps you. Yeah, I was curious and needed to measure its benefits because I wanted to use all my team GitHub Pilot. So I check out what advantages does it provide and how much. If I want to request a budget for it, I need to show this to management with numbers. Therefore, I want to create a measurable list that I could present. So based on my past experiences, I compiled a list of primary needs and issues I observed from my perspective as a software developer, technical lead, and product owner. Okay, this developer list. Well, the developer list actually is very long, so I took only top 10 items. I don't want to take a lot of time, and also I want to summarize a bit. For example, the first item, the lack of resources, documentation. Well, when you first onboard the employee, if documents and videos explain the project and its code is missing, it's very hard to onboard the person. It takes a lot of time. And as technology is growing very fast, the AI technology also is very growing fast. We have to quickly adapt to new technologies. And if also documentation and explanations written in code is not sufficient, it's hard to add to it constantly. And well, not equal unit test in plans is an issue because this can lead to can be very time consuming, and this can lead to encounter very errors during releases. This may lead to regressions and extra development for fixing them. But it's really hard to separate the budget for the extra development. DevOps processes, for automating the processes, we need CI/CD processes, and due to manual release processes or lack of knowledge is very, we have insufficient time allocated for those processes. While developing in team, yeah, having to wait a very to coworker to ask about issues, how to resolve them may take time. Also, we have to continuously learn and and adapt new technologies with it. Okay.
So you got
As
a
a
lot of problems while trying to develop something, Fatih, right? I mean,
yeah.
starting from the documentation to keep it, in time, right? And also about the stuff with the team is also because you need a working team with you so that you can develop the things in the time. So there's a lot of time that I see in this list that will actually cost time to you, right?
Yeah.
So the main problem is almost all of the time with the time, right? Especially while in developing. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
All
most
right.
of the time. Yeah.
Most
For
of it, right?
example, while developer works lots of time, they can't find a time for themselves. They can't improve themselves, and this also leads to I don't know demoralization. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, this is a question from a non-developer to a developer. Is it true that almost all of the time the developers do not like to write documentation? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct.
Besides
Right?
reading
That
documents
is
as
also
well.
very boring.
Yes,
Yeah.
they don't
No one
like.
likes.
Yeah.
No one likes to write anything about documentary. By the way, this is not only a developer thing. IT pros, it's the same. I mean,
General.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't like to write, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead.
I think this may be, yeah, the general problem, not just developers. Yeah, developers just want to develop. I mean, they don't want to do, I don't know, they also the short things. Yeah, without things, without creativity makes them, it's very boring. I mean, but the creative part is very little time. It takes very little time, unfortunately. Github Copilot helps with that. I'll explain it with later about this team synergy and motivation because it's very important for the development teams. I mean, for the perspective of technical lead, project management is also uh, very difficult. We have to create a clear and understandable tasks. You have to refine what is needed, what are the requirements, and also the deadlines. We have to adhere to the deadlines. And if there are any blockages, we have to remove them. Also, we have to, as we talked about the motivation, the coordination and motivation team is, we have to consider the motivation of the team also. And the efficiency of processes, like automating all the processes with the DevOps is very crucial for our work. And yeah, but as product owner, I mean, defining requirements is also, it's not very easy. You have to also develop very fast for competition. I mean, you have to reduce production costs. uh, you need quality product for positive brand visibility, right? And for customer satisfaction. And security also, is very important, especially nowadays. Yeah, well, when I see this, the Copilot effects expression, well, I was very impressed because all of these items here are very true. I had some experience with Copilot and also got feedbacks from my team members. And when I saw this expression, I totally agree with it. Yeah, I mean, the motivation is very crucial, you know. And a support there was is good spirit, well, it becomes easier for them to enter Zen mode. They can complete task usually takes in a days, just in single a day. Because I have witnessed this many times and even experienced myself during those long years. So, I mean, how does it motivate, right? It enables the developer to quickly solve daily tasks that need to be done, but does not require, creativity. They are usually boring. Also, such as documentation or creating models or bootstrapping an application, or writing unit tests. It takes a lot of time, but it's very important for preventing the regression of your code. Also, Github Copilot helps while writing the code. They learn while doing it. Provides very great motivation for developers to feel that they are constantly improving themselves. I mean, GitHub Copilot advises and mentors like a senior developer. It really helps a lot. It understands code and it does it, and also it can advise some libraries that you haven't used before.
And it's not really new, right, Fatih? I mean, GitHub Copilot is actually in our lives in over 2 years, I think. As far as I know, it's actually it was launched actually before ChatGPT. Is that right? So it has actually at least 2 years of history with us. So that developers actually have been using this technology for a while, right?
Well, GitHub Copilot also improved a lot. I mean, the IDE interface improved a lot, and the capabilities are improved a lot. Right now, I mean, it's very good time to be a developer. It's Copilot. It also helps. I hope we will have time for demonstration. It also helps for diagnostic problems and that we encountered very faster. I mean, no matter how much you test, I don't know, unit tests, integration tests, automated tests, there may be some scenarios that are always overlooked and not tested. For example, to troubleshoot your live production application, you need logging for monitoring and interpreting that telemetry information and logs. And sometimes it's not enough. For example, when you experience problem with CPU usage, it may not be possible to detect the problem from the logs. You need to get the debug tab, debug it, and detect the source of problem. Copilot can help with these time files, pinpoint the possible problem. I saw it at first hand. Also, understand the code faster. For example, when onboarding, when a team new member is onboarding to the project, it's very crucial that it has a documentation. But not always the documentations are enough. I mean, yeah, I guess we can show some examples, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Barish?
Yeah. Hello, everybody, again. And now I will a little bit talk about the GitHub Copilot internals. First of all, I need to share my screen first. Okay, I think it is available currently.
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Okay, thank you.
But the presenter
Yes.
view right now. Okay,
Yeah.
now it's good.
So how we met with GitHub Copilot? Three important company, we can say big company, came together. The first one is OpenAI, the second one is GitHub, the third one is, of course, Microsoft. And firstly, OpenAI told the people that I will give you an application and you can ask any question and you will get the answers immediately. And this became famous in common in technology world. And then GitHub said that, okay, this feature is good. I have the code repository. We can use this feature for our code repository as well. And beside that, Microsoft saw the opportunity here and said that, okay, your solution is fine, but we can make it common. We can make it easier to use. How can we do that? I have the IDE environment, integrated development environment like Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio. Beside that, we can combine other IDEs to use this feature, your solution, as a extension in the IDE environment. On this journey, we met with GitHub Copilot. Nowadays, Microsoft said that, okay, OpenAI is a good solution, but we have other solutions. What are they? Google Gemini and Anthropic Claude. And last week, I guess, Microsoft announced that we can leverage other platforms. Gemini and Claude can be used in Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio on GitHub Copilot. So these are the new features for developers, I can say.
So can we say that, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
just interrupt us. So can we say that as a developer or someone who wants to be a developer, let's say, okay, starting with, start using Copilot with GitHub, I can almost use any kind of technology, right? So I see Google here, OpenAI, Microsoft, GitHub, and on the language side, the programming language side, almost everything,
any language,
right?
Any language.
So I can do almost anything as long as I want to do, right?
Yes, of course. Even though, in my experience, I had a job in one of biggest banks, and we tried to join two banks together for one brand, under one brand, and we tried to use ISO 8000 something, a kind of standard. I ask a question related to this standard, and GitHub Copilot can answer that. Not only for the development side, it can also answer your questions about technological, like protocols, like standards, any kind of technological questions you can ask related to software or related to your development environment as well. So you can leverage GitHub Copilot not for only development side. You can use it for your improvement on the expertise. So it's very helpful. And in the demo part, we will see that how can I learn Python language using this structure. We can ask question and we can get the response as well. We will see in the demo.
Yeah, it's also a tool to learn developing.
Yes,
then, right?
Yes, of course.
Not only help us, but
very helpful.
will also help us for learning, which is again important, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
this is the strongest part.
I guess the most important here is that you don't disrupt your development with GitHub Copilot. You continue working with your favorite IDE, and you don't have to, I don't know, switch to browser and get back
we call this. There is an idiom about it. Stay in the flow. You are in the flow. You don't leave the flow, because when you go other browser sites, you can lose your concentration. So GitHub Copilot keeps you in the flow, not allows you to go other site or other solutions. So you are in the right direction, and you continue to develop and learn by this way. It is very essential.
That's very important, and that's very
true. It's important, especially nowadays. Now that we have notifications from all over, right? And it's really hard to focus on something. So it's good that we don't do that intentionally, because it will actually keep us focused there.
Think about that. For example, you are searching for an item in the internet, even though in Learn Microsoft. When you click one link, then you can click another. You can forget the first one. How can I come there? What was the main subject? What was I am looking for? So you can lose your concentration. This is an important point if we develop a very intensive project, and in some cases this makes time loss in your project lifecycle. So this is very important point for the developers and system administrators or a technical guy. It keeps you in the subject. So this is I use it too much, and this is the most important part for GitHub Copilot as well, because you can use it in the IDE. Yeah, you can use it in the IDE. So the only browser is IDE for you. You don't need to use other browsers. Any other additional information? I can continue, I guess, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So, besides Visual Studio solutions, we have NeoVim IDE environment and JetBrains IDE environment. And you can use GitHub Copilot as an extension, but the most effective one is Visual Studio Code, as far as I see, because it allows the open source solutions and extensions. I effectively used mostly on Visual Studio Code. I used Visual Studio. I haven't used it in NeoVim or JetBrains IDEs, but Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, I combine them together. Why? Because I am not a keyboard guy. I am a mouse guy in technical development part. And Visual Studio allows me to build it, debug it easily, but Visual Studio Code allows me to use GitHub Copilot effectively. Why? Because I can use chat part, inline chat, terminal, help, blah, blah, blah. I have many options in Visual Studio, but some options can be hard for other IDE environment to use. For example, I can use add workspace switch in Visual Studio Code, but it is not available in NeoVim or JetBrains either. So in some features, maybe you may not see in other IDEs. Mostly, I prefer and recommend you to use Visual Studio Code. How can you use it? You use it in any technologies like .NET, Java. We know these traditional ways, but besides, for example, I ask a question, what was the first compiler in computer science, and it allows me to understand, and it allows me to find the response for that. For example, I guess I didn't remember the founder, but it was developed in 50s, for example. And it gave me an example, but saying that, okay, I will give you this example, but you may not find a compiler to build this project. Why? Because it is old. So it gives additional information as well. What else we can talk here? Yeah.
Also, with VS Code, it's a little bit easier to set up a context
Yes.
for the questions.
Yes. In many cases, if the context is not helpful for me, what I mean, for example, when you ask a question, you may not get an exact answer because it depends on your context, it depends on your content, it depends on your detailed information that you give the GitHub Copilot. In some cases, I ask the question something like that. I would like you to do that, but I don't know how to ask it. Please give me the clear text and detailed text about it. So I use GitHub Copilot for questions to ask GitHub Copilot. So I use
creative prompts.
Yes, I use its force in front of, how can I say, to use it in general. So this is another approach to use GitHub Copilot. In some cases, because you have to change your questions. I will talk about it. We call this prompt engineering. You should know the prompt engineering details when you cope with GitHub Copilot solution. So it is important to give enough information to GitHub Copilot because it is not a live system. It is, at the end, it's a machine. So it cannot understand the human brain. So you have to explain your thought flow. You should say, okay, I am trying to do that, and I want to have this result at the end. And beside that, please give me this. So you have to list all the items when you are thinking. So it can understand your way by this flow.
Yeah, let me add something to that. Well,
Yeah.
I actually come across to this a lot, by the way. Well, we work with Copilot in M365, and we actually try to explain it to our customers. So the term AI actually makes people think that the computers will do everything without we even saying it to them.
No.
So this is not how it works actually. At least yet, by the way.
Yes.
For now, for today, they don't know. It is, as far as I know, they don't know what we are thinking. Okay, so we need to be clear about what we want from them, right?
In the future, it will do.
Yeah.
How? Because
Probably,
when you talk with people, you can look at her or his eyes. You can understand that he understands or not, because he looks like that.
There's an interaction.
Yes,
an interaction there. But when we talk, when we look, when we react with hands and so with gestures. But if you are actually thinking the AI to understand everything from your thinking, it's not going to be possible. You need to give it to it by typing, saying, whatever. You need to give it to it, right?
Maybe in the future, maybe it will. We will allow it to use our camera. Camera may see you, and then AI can handle the picture or view of your face. Then understands. Okay, he is lying. He says the truth, or he didn't understand. Who knows?
Electromagnetic brain waves and so on. Yeah, but we are not there yet. By the way.
Yes, we are not there.
By the way, I think that this is completely a different topic, but I think that may be possible in the next decade, right? So maybe. It's not that
because time is changing very fast. So who knows? Maybe next year, maybe two years later. Who knows? Nobody. We will wait. We will see. Okay.
I can also add something from my observations with other people, also myself. Even though you are freshly using GitHub Copilot, you still get a lot of benefits with it. It still understands you. It's not you don't have to know a lot to start with it.
Yes, but this is this is the property of GitHub Copilot. For example, you can use other tools in other browsers, but this browser cannot understand what are you doing. For example, you can't ask this question: what shall I do now? So what is that? what shall I do? What were you doing? What is your context? What is your problem? Other browser can ask additional question, but GitHub Copilot can understand that because
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
yeah,
It's like a
it
fine-tuned version of other
because it knows your
chatbots.
IDE, it knows your comment, it knows your writing style, it knows your previous chat history. So it combines all of
It
them.
also knows
Then,
technology stack
of
and other
course, of course,
libraries.
of course,
Your
it puts
location, if you let it, right?
exactly. So
Language, by the way.
you can ask only, what shall I do now? So it can say, okay, you are having some problems with the exceptions. Please handle this exception, or please use this command instead of this one. Please write a method, something like that. So it tries to give correct answers to your question. But other locations, you have to move your context to other resources. So this is the most, how can I say, hard way to get help from other side. But GitHub Copilot can do that for you. For productivity, it gains it helps to gain time for your project to complete your goals. How can it does this help on your IDE? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of helpers for GitHub Copilot. Ghost tags, I will show. Inline chat, you can open a chat window in editor or terminal or any other places if you are using Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. And terminal help, it tries to give effective responses to your question. Besides that, if you don't have IDE or you have only dummy terminals, for example, you can use GitHub Copilot CLI on the command line. For example, you can ask GH means GitHub Copilot, please suggest me, please explain. We have two options for CLI portion, and for the suggest, it will give the command output. If you ask a question for explanation, then it will try to explain what you are trying to do. So it says, okay, if you want to get, for example, restarted pods in OpenShift environment, use this command, blah, 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 whatever it is. But it has a limited responses for CLI. It is not complex, or it is not a professional details in chat window, because in chat window we have too many options to use it. One by one, let's see how can we use them. For example, when we open up my lab environment, think that you try to write an application using JavaScript, and you don't know how to start. First of all, for example, you can say that in the comment part, saying that a function that retrieves a string. Then you will see the completion of the code. For example, when you hit the tab part, it will complete your command, your program immediately. When you hit enter, it will try to complete other parts, for example. A function that reverses a string. This can be used for JavaScript project. Other one, for example, when you say, okay, please give me this function, what is that? It helps you to convert your string according to what was HTML style. For example, you can give an example. Who am I? You have the blanks, but it will put dash beside the words instead of your original string. It converts it to the HTML compliant version, for example. What else you can do it? And here you can ask any question, something like that. For example, you can use this way. Question, if you say Q, then put your question, then it will try to give an answer. Q means question, A means answer. So you can use your EDE environment. In the code, you can ask questions and get the related information. What else I can use here? For example, when I say this function, I can select this function and get the inline chat. Inline chat means you can open a chat window, small chat window, using Control-I for Visual Studio Code, and other places, I guess, I didn't use Mac, but there is another
It's
instead
comment,
of the,
I guess.
yeah, I guess
Comment button, I guess. Yeah.
comment button. You can use comment with I. You can open the chat window here. For example, please document the function for me. You don't
Barish,
need to say, yeah.
do I need to say please here, by the way? This is another question that we kind of discuss with our customers about how polite we should be to the AI, right?
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Yeah,
You can
I
say,
mean,
do
yeah,
that.
just
That's
yeah.
it.
Let's say that I
But
want to order, so yeah.
yeah, this
It's
is
always good
Turkish.
to be polite, though,
I
right?
can say, yeah, this is Turkish way.
Okay.
Please,
Okay.
I kindly request, blah, blah, blah. So,
Fine.
because this is a tool, yes, but it feels like there is someone behind that. So you try to communicate, do the conversation with him or she, her. It feels like you have someone beside you. Because of
Okay.
that, we say, please, I kindly request, blah, blah, blah. So this is fun, I know.
It's also good that being polite. I mean, when the machines take over the world, at least we will have to be able to say that I was polite at least, right? Not ordering. Anyway.
Now it helps us now. But later on, maybe it will educate itself. Then we will train it to be polite in the future. Maybe
Yeah, that's very
we
interesting,
will teach
by
it.
the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
maybe.
very
Who knows? Who knows? So it gives
Well,
the
I should
yeah.
sorry, Barış. I should also mention that the documentation feature is very, very good.
Yes.
But for the ghost text, we have to be very careful. I mean,
Yeah.
the ghost text sometimes is very intuitive. I mean, I'm surprised. Wow, the code is very good. But the more you write to the method, for example, it refines the answer, and yeah, you always have to check the code. I mean,
The first thing you should remember when you deal with the Copilot, someone is coming. It gives an answer, but this is not 100% true. You have to test it, you have to validate it. So because of that, we generally say, okay, get the answer, use it, test it, then go to production. This is the first thing you should be aware of, okay? So every time it will not give you the correct answer. So you have to test it. For not GitHub Copilot, for other AI solution, it is important. Get the response, look it, analyze it, validate it, then use it. This is the most important thing. Because of that, I think.
Yeah, we should not treat it as a developer. We
Yes.
should treat it as an
Yes.
assistant, really.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
You can continue. For example, what else you can do that? For example, this is a code-related definition. But if you have something like that, what can I say? Okay. For example, this is unformatted text. I use GitHub Copilot for automated task, for example. I can say that, okay, I have a function here, please. I mean, not please. Reformat the code. When I say reformat the code, it will complete the indentation, I guess. Yeah, corrected. So you have huge code, and you feel that there is some missing part. There are too many comments and unused code parts. We call this trash code. You have to skip or delete this code part. So you can use inline chat. Please purify my code. You can say that. Then it tries to modify your code as well. So you can use GitHub Copilot for this purpose as well. What else I can use here? For example, I wrote a code, then I want to put it in a Docker container and try to build this Docker container. Let's say Docker, yes, build -t my sample dot. When I hit enter, it will give an error. Okay, so what can I do currently? I try to use GitHub Copilot to solve my problem. How can I do that? We can see a sparkle beside the command line. When you hit sparkle, it will ask you, what shall I do? Shall I fix it or shall I explain it? I can say, please explain. I didn't understand the error currently. So it uses the terminal line and gets the detailed information from the terminal and gives the answer. Here it says, please don't use T. You should use D instead of T. So you can use this feature for your unit test. You can use it for the general, for example, integration test. If you have an error in the console, then you can ask, what does this error try to say to me? So you can use the chat window to explain the error, and you can ask, how can I correct that? It will give you the possible solutions for the correction. What else
Here
I
we
can
are
use?
using the terminal context. I mean,
Yes,
it
terminal
also says,
context.
you can use workspace right now and directly
Of course.
ask questions about VS Code.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
For
I used
example,
them
here,
a lot.
here, if you say help in the chat window, it will give you, excuse me, this is intent recognition, we call this. It tries to get the help from the Azure part, but I tried to get the general help. Here it says you can use switches like at workspace, at Visual Studio Code, at terminal, at GitHub pull requests, at Azure, at data, at Vision, and at GitHub. Vision, data, Azure, and GitHub, the pull request announced last week. These are the new features. I will explain them later on, if we have time, of course. And these are very strong features. The most important part was Vision. Why? Because last week, Microsoft announced that you can select the version. For example, what is the difference between GPT-4o, O1 Mini, O1 Preview? These are the LLM models you can use, ask your questions and get the answers. Additionally, we have Gemini and the Cloudy. But you have to enable them in the administration part on GitHub link. When you enter your account on the github.com, then if you are administrator of the GitHub Copilot, you have the option, if you check, please allow users to use, for example, Cloudy, then Cloudy version can be a selection here. So you can see Cloudy, use Cloudy or Gemini when you enable this feature. For now, as a default version, O1 Mini and O1 Preview. In some cases, 4.0 generates, for example, too long solution, or it consumes too much token for the system. But when you select O1 Mini and O1 Preview, what is the difference between O1 and 4.0? 4.0 tries to give more context. O1 tries to reframe your question. How? Because it uses managers. When you ask a question, LLM generates a response, sends it to the manager. Manager tries to understand, okay, this is important, but this is not the exact solution. Please think about the solution to the LLM system. LLM system regenerates the response. Again, this cycle continues. Afterwards, manager says, okay, this is the correct answer, then sends it back. So it means a little bit very close to human think process. O1 Mini and O1 Preview. You can use it as much as you want. And what else? The new feature here, again, text. You can hit the text, not text. This is chat helpers. You can hit the chat helpers, then you can get information about it. For example, for workspace, please explain what. Again, I started with please. It doesn't important. What
I do that also.
what does this this app talks about? Let's say. I want to understand the contents of my workspace. So when you say hit workspace, it doesn't check the code. It doesn't check the terminal. It checks the whole workspace. So it says inline chat, fresh features, blah, 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 blah. One by one, it tries to explain your environment. For example, I have a mark map example here. I will use this prompt. For example, another solution. I have a complex version of what I have. Notification controller. Okay. Yeah, no, chatter. I have a project. I use GitHub Copilot to generate a chatter with your SQL data. What it does, you can ask a question in your language, for example, Turkish, Arabic, English, Chinese, whatever it is. Then it will give you to answer in your language with the command. For example, how many customers do I have? Which customers gave the highest order to my product? What is my order status? I can ask these questions and get the SQL answers for that. For that project, for example, when I ask this question, create a mind map of this workspace, list all the frameworks used, methods with parameters, business flow of the methods, and relationship among others, and create this mind map in Markdown format. Why? I will generate a graph of the internal structure of my application. So now it understands. We call this intent recognition. So it understands this question is related to workspace. Okay, I will look at the workspace, then generate the code, generate the response for that. When I select this Markdown, it tries to complete. Previously, I made it here.
You can create a very good prompt, by the way, Barış. I mean, it's clear, it's understandable. You know what you want. You know what you want to add. So again, another example of a good prompt, right?
Yeah. Because why I get this prompt, when I start with the customer in general under Microsoft brand, customer generally ask this question. Okay, Barış, what shall we do? What this project does? Please explain the internals, blah, blah, blah. So I use the same question for GitHub Copilot. I give the question, I get the answer. Then I can generate a picture.
I should also mention that it's very good with other languages too.
Yeah,
I'm not just with English.
You can use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
For example, sometimes I ask in Turkish, but want the answers in English. It's very helpful.
You can ask, even though you can ask in English, then say, please give the answer in Turkish, or give detailed explanation about it. So I created Markdown, and there is a tool in Visual Studio Code. We call this mind map or mind map. I am not sure. When you install this extension uses the information and generates a graph. For example, who links to what? What is the details? So you can use this graph. For example, you can use it in your unit test. You can use it in your project structure. You can use it. Okay, my system communicates with what? My system uses at this part with this technology. Which technology? Like JavaScript, .NET Core, or Python, whatever else. Other the database systems, for example. I use SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, blah blah blah. So this is a good way to understand your project structure as well. What else I can use here?
Can it also generate a dependency graph with the project?
Yes. It's a kind of dependency. If you, how can I say? If you give details in your prompt, even though it can create the dependency graph as well, instead of your project.
Okay, just to remind you, we have last 10 minutes, guys.
Okay, so
yeah, we need to
what
else?
Okay. We have too many features, but the most important one I would like to show you, the vision. Where is vision? I like this vision version. When you use the chat window, please put your images to chat window. Then ask, please explain the structure that I have given to you as picture. That's it. This feature is new, very new. Last week we met this feature. This introduced in OpenAI with 4.0, but GitHub Copilot couldn't use this feature until last week. Last week they announced that you can use vision tag. What is vision? This is another extension for GitHub Copilot. When you install it, it can understand your picture. Even though in your project, for example, think that you have a problem in the another client screen, then you can ask, please take a picture of your screen and send it to me. You can get it, paste your picture here, and ask the GitHub Copilot, open your project. my client get this error in the screen, but I couldn't find the exact location in my project. Please find the current location, how this problem can occur. Then GitHub Copilot try to render your picture, gets the information, looks at your project, and find the exact location. This is another good way to troubleshoot a problem in production. This is very important for me.
I believe there is a lot of things going at the back end of this, right? Getting the image with OCR, pushing it to Azure services to understand what it is, checking the content and so on. And it only happens in a couple of seconds, right?
Yes. First of all, you should install the extension. Then you should enable to use one of the solution, either in OpenAI location or Azure OpenAI services. I used, for example, when I go to Vision part here, there is Vision. This is my endpoint. This is my model, because this model gets the picture, gives does the process and gives the answer to me. This answer comes from this OpenAI version. So you have to create a deployment on OpenAI site. There is no additional installation in your environment. Besides that, it gives some UC links here. You can use the links in the chat window as well. What else I can ask here? For example, I can say that, please, this is the last, let's say, sample, because we don't have time. Please generate a folder structure that I can implement the architecture, let's say, architecture given in the picture, and generate a script for me to create folders. That's it. Let's see. It will analyze your picture and try to generate a folder structure. For example, API, front end, or back end, whatever it is. Then it will give me the script, batch script or PowerShell script or whatever you want. Bicep, Terraform, blah, blah, blah. You see?
It creates a boilerplate.
Yes. Then you can continue from that. Please fill out the front-end side using Node.js. You can say that. And I want to get these methods as well. Blah, blah, blah. This is only prompt. You don't write any code for your project. This you use your prompting, how can I say, muscles. You use prompting muscles to generate effective output from the GitHub Copilot. So I have too many things to explain, but I think we don't
also have time, Barış, for DevOps engineering. I mean, for creating or CI/CD pipeline, or I don't know, maybe Azure resources.
Of course. This is another prompt. You see, I have a huge prompt for the DevOps side. Let's do this as a last sample. Let's say.
Yes, and then it would better be wrap up, right? Yeah.
Yes. So I tried to give the more detail about the Azure pipeline. Here it says, okay, I will create a .NET configuration, then use the restore command, and build your solution, publish it, and put artifacts to the location. So you can improve this prompt to create your release or build pipelines in general, even though in Azure DevOps or Jenkins or any other solutions as well. That's all for me, but I have too many things as well.
There is a lot, right?
Yeah. This is a huge context.
Want to add that GitHub Copilot understands Terraform, ARM templates, Bicep.
And converts it.
The output is very impressive. When I first saw it, wow, I said, really?
Yeah.
It's very successful with especially with pipelines.
Yes.
And resources.
Okay, now I am stopping my sharing and.
Fatih, can you share the last slides from our presentation, if that's okay? So let me wrap up, by the way. Well, so you may be thinking that where I should start with this whole Copilot and GitHub thing, right? If you are watching this already, because we kind of dived into it, because there is a lot of content to to be able to share with you. Well, the first thing I will, of course, say that you can always contact directly to us, me, Fatih, Barış as well.
Exactly.
We are actually going to share the recording of this webinar as well. We also have the YouTube channel. Please follow it as well, which is important. As Pickup, we have our own services and products, and we really do a lot of stuff around Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and other AI solutions as well. So if you have some kind of need on these, any of these, please do not hesitate to contact us. We have a whole dedicated AI team actually working with this. And we have other services around Microsoft as well, like you may need to use Copilot in data warehousing with Fabric, right? Or you may need Copilot in M365 applications. Or you may need it for security. I mean, Copilot is now everywhere, especially, by the way, this is the last day of the Microsoft's important event, right? And they have a lot of new announcements about Copilot. So I really hope that we would be able to share some of them with you. We won't be, but let me summarize it. They put Copilot in everything. So which means you will see it a lot more. Which again means that it would be a good idea for you to get some kind of preparation and then start using it in any platform. It may be GitHub, it may be M365, it may be security or whatever. So in any case, please, if you have any kind of needs, go ahead and share with us. We would be really happy to help you with it. Me, Fatih, Barış, and my colleagues, others from Pickup as well. If you have any questions, go ahead. And one last thing before we end it, please share your feedbacks with our feedback forms. Okay, this is important for us. And if you are looking for another session like this, maybe a longer one, this is most of the time that we actually got the feedback because the time is limited. We are still able to do that as well. Okay, I would like to thank Fatih first and Barış then for all your efforts and for joining and sharing your experiences and on. If you have anything last you say, let me drop the microphone to Fatih first and then Barış, and then we can close it up.
Thank you, everyone. I hope to see you again.
Yeah. So my last question, recommendation, please keep your radars open. This is a hard way, I know, but every time be ready to learn new things, because every day we are having some new features, and keep your radars open. That's it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Barış. Thanks a lot. We will see you soon again, I hope, right? Fatih, as you. Görkem, thank you for your all support, by the way.
Thank you, everyone.
And
great webinar.
Thank you for attending, of course. Okay, see you in the next one, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Take care.
Have a nice day.
See you.
Bye. Bye.